Welcome to the British Football Guy. We've been gone for a little while, but we're back with a new episode and expect a few more coming over the holiday break. So this week is going to be a Getting Paid to Poop episode, just a quick one, and it's all about the Chiefs. And in all honesty, I think the Chiefs are going to win it all. And here's my reasons why. So, the Chiefs started absolutely horribly, and I think in some of the episodes that we did, I was talking about the betting, and we stopped doing the betting episodes mainly because it was so hard to predict, and really could have made thousands on just some ridiculous bets. If I think about the games that just happened this weekend, when I was looking at fantasy football, and I'll give you an update on how I'm getting on there. They had, New Orleans beat Tampa 9-0. It was the first time in 15 years that Brady has what's the term that he used? He just hasn't scored anything. He just not whitewashed. I can't remember them. Anyway, it's been 15 years. Tampa's offense is ridiculous with Fournette, with Chris Godwin, with Mike Evans. How can you not get a touchdown? Or even the kicker. I saw the kicker. I think it was Nick Folk. He missed a pretty normal field goal. So look, that couldn't be predicted. Couldn't be predicted with a New Orleans Saints teams that struggled this year. Additionally, Cardinals against the Lions. Sure, they were playing away, but it's not. It's an indoor stadium, and they got whooped. You've got James Conner, who's number 2 in touchdowns for the year in terms of rushing touchdowns. Actually, no, in touchdowns in general. So you can't. I know we look at these kind of things, but imagine putting both of those bets on. Just can't put it. So I didn't, I stopped betting. I think had a really good start of the year. I made some good money. And then when the game started to go a little bit right, didn't put any money on. Probably stopped about four or 5 weeks ago, in all honesty. And the same with college. But the good thing is, it is a very competitive league, and I think that's the reason why. And if you do look at some of the records that we've had across AFC and NFC, there's some really tight matchups. 7-6. A few anybody still in the hunt for the playoffs. So exciting for the neutral. And also, I guess, we talked about what have the fans got to go for if you're like a Jags fan. There's only really the Jags that don't have much to play off. Even the Lions are starting to come back now. They've had a tie, a bloody tie, and also, 2 wins. So they can actually start thinking, okay, we start getting a little bit of momentum. We can start looking forward to next season. So, it's been really competitive this year. And I think partly when we were looking at the Chiefs at the beginning, they had a dreadful season. And I thought, well, are the wheels start to fall off now? Is Mahomes, was he kind of somewhat of a flash in the pan? Or is he going to have the longevity like the Rodgers, like the Brady, like the Rivers types of individuals? But here's the piece. So if we look at who they lost to, so they've lost 4, the Chiefs. Lost to the Bills, and at the time, the Bills looked like they could go all the way. Under Josh Allen, I think they were looking supreme. And then the Bills lost some ridiculous games. And I lost more money. They lost to the Ravens. Again, Ravens, they just don't instill me with confidence that they can go all the way either. And I just don't think they have all the pieces. What I do like about the Ravens is they will try and win games rather than take it to overtime. And they did that against Green Bay and obviously lost. But Titans, they lost to. Now they're Derrick Henry-less. They're a different animal. They're not as strong as they were. And they've lost some ridiculous games on the road as well. And then the Chargers. I think, given another season, they're going to be a very dangerous team. For Herbert, I think he's probably got... This year will be another learning year. Next year, he'll come through it, and he'll be stronger. So Chargers, none of these are bad teams. Bills, Ravens, Titans, and Chargers. So it's not like they lost to the Lions or to the Jags, which Arizona Cardinals did. So you can understand it. And also, I guess there was a few injuries. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was out. But here's why I think, and if you think about the Chiefs, people's like, no, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I think they have to win the Super Bowl this year if they're to realise any of the potential. Yes, they've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 2 years. I expected them to beat Tampa. I really did. And I thought they'd probably, similar to Golden State Warriors, when they were in that purple patch, I think this is a Chiefs. They have to realise it. If they don't now, contracts are going to come up and it's going to be too expensive. They are going to have to lose some of their star players. They're going to have to get creative. Belichick did that for so well for so many years. When they did look at, not having the same amount of money of some of these other teams. But if I'm looking at it, I think they have to win. Now, I used to think about with form as one of the most important pieces. Patriots, year over year, they'd hit the purple patch at the right time. They may have a few seasons where, they'd be kind of 12-4, but they hit the purple patch at the right time. San Antonio Spurs, they used to do it all the time. Their players that might rest through the regular season, and then when it came into the postseason, they were good to go, and it was dangerous. I remember as a Houston Rockets fan or as a Phoenix Suns fan, they were always hitting the form at the right time. In soccer, Man United back in the 90s and early 2000s, they'd lose a few games, play poorly, but when it came down to it, they'd win the Premier League on the last day of the seasons multiple times. So it's all about timing, experience, and dealing with that pressure. So who are the Chiefs really going to come up against in the playoffs? In the Super Bowl. Well, before we get to the Super Bowl, let's just talk about the playoffs. The Bills, Titans, excuse me, and the Pats. I think Mac Jones, I don't like him as an individual, but he's done pretty well. The Pats are the hardest team that they're going to have to play, I think. Titans, again, Derrick Henry-less. They're not going to be in the picture. So there's nobody really on that side that they're going to have to fear. So I think once they take the Pats, it's like who we're looking in the Super Bowl. And realistically, there's some good teams there. There's the Rams, still trying to make some of the pieces come together. But with Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, OBJ seem to be finding a really good home there. Matt Stafford, the Rams look really good. Cards, really worried that they're losing against Jags, Lions. It's not the right time to lose form. Got a few injuries there. So in the Super Bowl, realistically, they're going to be playing, I think, Cards or Green Bay. I think it's probably going to be Green Bay. And Rodgers, somewhat of an injury concern there. I don't know what's going on with his foot. So I just don't see, in this very competitive league, there are no teams that have run away with it. In past seasons, the Bucs found good form. The Chiefs were terrific last year. Just felt confident in them the whole way through. Pats of years gone by, dominated through the season, so there was always like kind of a clear favourite. Here, it's not so much. So actually, I think it would be a good bet to put on the Chiefs because it's probably, a lot better price than when you'd have got them at the beginning of the year. So they don't really have much competition. I mean, I've put the Cowboys in here as a mix, but they don't have the experience of being in playoffs or going far. Dak doesn't. He's a great quarterback, but he doesn't have that experience. Tampa, they have that experience, but they're getting injuries, and I just don't think it's the same Tampa as before. I don't think they're going to make it. And Arizona, they definitely don't have the experience. I think it's been 5 or 6 years since we made the playoffs, 2015. So Kyler doesn't have that leadership experience. When Kyler, as Cliff Kingsbury said, Kyler has a bad game, the Cards have a bad game. It's just facts. So partly the reason why I'm going to go for the Chiefs. And then the final piece, we did start talking about form. Chiefs are the best form in the league. They've won 7. Team with the next best form, Miami Dolphins, and they've won 6. So you've got to look at this, and I think coming into it, they've got to play the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Broncos. There may be one upset in there, and it might be against the Bengals. All of those 3 teams have had an interesting season. They're all around that kind of 7-6, 7-7, 8-7 kind of game-to-loss ratio. And then just think about the plays. So Kelsey had probably one of his best games of his life at the weekend. Hill wasn't behind that. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's fit again, and he's looking good. And Mahomes, yeah, people have wobbles, but I think he's going to find his form again. So I just think it's in the bag for the Chiefs. And again, for that dynasty, that legacy of this team, the Mahomes, the Kelseys, the Hills, they have to win it. So that's my pick and preview to who's going to win the Super Bowl. If you agree with it, put a comment on our Facebook page or email us at the British Football Guy. If you don't, give us some ideas of who you think is going to win and why. And we'll be back with another episode shortly.